In this video, we will cover an introduction to your new FlipFlow exit lane breach control system. This video guide is meant for a basic rundown of the features of the exit lane that you will deal with on a daily operational basis. We will start by going over the available modes of operation to the exit lanes, which can be selected via physical key switch located just above the airside door. There are 5 total modes of operation, which are designated by an illuminated red LED. The first mode being the locked mode, as you can see on the video. In the locked mode, you will see all 3 sets of doors closed, 2 sets in the case of a twin model, with all the lights powered off and the red X signifying no entry into the lane. The vertical columns also will have a red traffic light illuminated as well, showing that the lane cannot be entered. On the opposite side of the lane, you will see a matching red LED on the exit header. It is important to note that if someone were to approach the lane, that a message stating that this is an exit-only area would play, even though that the lane is closed and not operational. The next mode of operation is the open mode. In this mode, you will notice all lights powered on, the green arrow illuminated along with the green traffic lights illuminated green on the columns. It is important to note that all sets of doors are fully open and do not close. This is the least secure mode of operation that the exit lane offers, but does offer the ability to be configured such that you can have reverse flow through the exit lanes without setting off the alarm. In this first example, you will see the green LED arrow illuminated on the exit header, allowing you for full access through the lane. In the first example, you will see a green arrow illuminated above the exit header, allowing for full passage through the lane without setting off the alarm. With the backflow detection enabled, the green arrow turns into a red X signifying no entry, and as you can see in this second video, as soon as a passenger does enter the lane, it does shut down. The next mode of operation is the flow mode. This is the most commonly used mode across all of the current airports. As with the open mode, all the lights are on, the green traffic lights and arrows are illuminated, but the doors are closed and remain closed until a passenger approaches the lane. In the flow mode, as long as the passengers keep approaching the lane, the doors will either remain open or reopen as soon as they sense another passenger. From the ground side, the header is illuminated with a red X, and the pre-alarm zone lets the passengers know they should not enter the area. It is important to note that in the flow mode, if someone would decide to turn around and head the wrong way, the exit lane would alarm and attempt to close the airside door with a maximum speed to prevent a breach. Because of this, it is possible that a passenger entering the lane at the same time could be impacted by the door, as seen as this next example. We are able to turn off the setting and not have the lanes close the doors if a passenger is detected. However, this would be at a great reduction to the security of the lane. For the backflow alarming, it is important to note that the backflow detection zone does not start until the passengers have reached the middle doors in the triple or the exit doors in the twin. As seen in this next example, if somebody were to simply walk partially into the lane and turn around, no alarm would sound. This means that it is possible for passengers to enter the lane partially, turn around without setting off the alarm. In the next example, the passenger shows further progression into the lane, which does result in the alarm. Next, we will look at the interlock mode. Very similar to the flow mode, however, in this mode, the entry door must fully close behind the passengers prior to the middle and exit doors opening. This is the most secure mode of operation that is available, but does reduce the total amount of passengers you are able to flow per hour. At the end of this video, you can see a comparison between the flow and the interlock modes. The last mode that is not shown in this video is called the automatic mode. This mode switches between the flow and the interlock mode automatically depending on the passenger flow per hour. In the next video, we will take a look at the pre-alarm zone in the case of the extended units with the swing gates. The combination of the radar above the door and the floor light curtain sensor allows us to quickly detect passengers approaching the lanes from the ground side, and as soon as they break the plane stepping into the zone of the extension, the alarm sounds with an annunciation that they should not be located there. Next, we will take a look at a demonstration of a thrown object. Larger objects such as backpacks and laptop bags that are thrown not very low across the floor can very easily be picked up by the backflow sensors, causing the lane to lock insecure the airside door and setting the unit into the alarm until the object is cleared and taken out of the lane. Next, we will cover a brief overview of where each type of sensor is located, starting with the entry door. Here you will find the radar sensor that activates the door when it senses the passengers. In the columns, you will find, starting at the very top, a safety sensor located here, a counting beam sensor located here, followed by a secondary safety beam sensor located at the bottom. All three or two sets of vertical columns have similar and matching sensors. Following into the lane, you will find a matching radar sensor that activates the door, followed by the backflow detection TOF sensor. In the case of a triple, these sensors are matched exactly in the second set of tunnels. Here again, you will find the radar sensor, followed by the backflow detection sensor. And in the vertical columns, once again, you will find the upper safety beam located here, a counting beam in the middle, followed by a secondary safety beam here. On the inside perimeter of the walls, you will find the object detection light curtain sensors. These sensors pick up objects 2 by 2 by 2 inches and larger in size. These sensors are located all across the ceiling, the vertical walls, and the floor. Here we will see what happens when a passenger accidentally or intentionally leaves an object behind that blocks the sensors. The object is left in the lane, the sensors are blocked, and the passenger exits. The unit will then sense that the object is inside. After 7 seconds, the unit will go into an alarm, as seen in the video, and after the unit goes into alarm, the doors will open, allowing for you to return back into the exit lane in order to retrieve the object that was left behind. It is important to note that the airside door remains closed and secured throughout this entire operation, and once the object is cleared out of the exit lane, the unit will self-close, do a self-scan, and return itself into normal operation without you having to do anything else other than clearing the object that was left inside. Next, we will cover the optional record real-time software if you have it installed and connected to the exit lane. This is the overall interface that you will see with the lane illuminated in green. Clicking on the lane brings up a status page of all the possible sensors broken down by their general location relative to the tunnel itself, where you can see the separate entry door, the tunnel sections, followed by the additional doors and tunnels. On this screen, we can see the very useful alarm log, which collects all of the alarm information as long as the software is running. This allows for a technician to very quickly and efficiently troubleshoot the lane in case of any sort of failure. Additionally, the software allows for remote mode changing ability without the need to physically have to go to the lane. Once configured, you can input your password, select the mode that you want, and the lane will automatically switch to that mode remotely. This is in particular very useful for the situations in the cleaning mode, which will allow for remotely triggering the cleaning mode for the staff to have access from the ground side for cleaning purposes of the lane without having to set off any of the alarms. In the next example here, we will take a look at what the software looks like when an object is left behind in the lane. Once the lane determines there is an alarm, it will illuminate the lane in red, allowing you to go into the alarm log to see what the issue is. Here we can see that the lane has now illuminated red. Once we get into the prompt for that lane, we can see all of the activated sensors, and then going into the alarm log itself, we can see that the last known alarm was the presence floor for tunnel number 1, which is where the object was left behind. Once this object is collected by either a passenger or an airport staff, the lane will again close itself, do a scan, and return back into normal operation that it was in before. Here we can see that everything has cleared, the lane has went green, and on the operational screen you can see that there's no current alarms and the lane is again good to go. The two videos here demonstrate both the flow and the interlock mode with the people counter per hour, so you can determine whether or not each of these modes would be of use to you. It is important to note once again that all of the alarms in the lane are self-clearing as long as the object that caused the issue has been removed. There is nothing that you should do on a daily basis to reset the lanes to get them back into normal operation. The most common source of alarms that we typically get from airports are the flow disturbance alarms, which are the material alarms with objects left behind in the lane. These can be either pieces of trash, ticket stubs, or even dust built up throughout the daily use of the lane. We strongly recommend going through and doing some dry cleaning on a regular basis inside of the lane to keep the dust buildup to a minimum. If possible, we strongly recommend using a small shop vac in order to go over, at the very least, the bottom floor detection holes for the object detection sensors, as that is where most of the dust buildup will occur. This will allow the lane to run seamlessly for a long period of time. It is important to note that our backflow detection sensors are very sensitive in order to pick up any sort of wrong way movement to prevent a breach. Because of this, objects like backpacks, laptop bags, grocery bags, and anything that a passenger may have that can have any kind of swinging motion while passing under the sensors could very possibly set off the sensor as they're exiting the lane in the correct direction. This is very common to see, and it should not be of any cause of concern. If you do happen to have a lane that is out of service that you cannot get running by yourself, you can reach out to the FlipFlow monitoring line at 704-220-6810. This line is monitored 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We have technicians on standby in order to assist you the best that we can remotely prior to sending out a technician to the site. Most of the issues that we have faced in the previous months and years, we have been able to resolve remotely via phone call without having to send anybody on site and getting the lanes operational in a very quick and prompt way. Thank you for purchasing the FlipFlow, and we hope that it meets and exceeds all of your expectations.